All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody out there is having a great day so far. In just a second, man, we are getting some chilling warnings from the American people when it comes to the ICE Gestapo thugs. People have had it. They're fed up. They're done with it. And look, you can't say the warnings are not put out. They are put out. So we'll talk about that. We also have Jesse Ventura just absolutely decimated Trump for turning the U.S. into, his words here, third world country. And he flirted potentially running for governor of Minnesota again. As you all know, he was the governor of Minnesota in the past. And he is absolutely furious about the ICE invasion of his beloved state. So we'll talk about that. We also have the Trump regime has gone full mask off. Wait until you see what Tom Homan said. And support for ICE has now plummeted to a record low. I've never seen such low numbers for any law enforcement operation in the entire country. Usually the U.S., American citizens have like a default reverence for law enforcement. Not here at all, actually. So we'll get to that. And later on, we have Trump saying something which should send a chill down your spine because this is an emergency 5-alarm fire, red alert type thing here. He's basically hinting at, yes, they're going to try to steal at the very least the 2028 election, but potentially even 2026 as well. So you guys know the drill, man. Do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. You can click that bell icon to make sure you get a notification every single time a video drops. You can support the show on Patreon or tip with that thanks button on YouTube. Of course, sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. And finally, go sub to Corn's World so you can hang out with us on Monday nights. We're live every Monday night over on that channel, and you don't want to miss it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right in ski. So let's start with this, and shout out to Jordan Chariton and Status Coup for bringing us this video here. By the way, if you haven't subbed yet, go sub to Status Coup now, because they've been on the ground in Minneapolis throughout the entire ICE invasion, and they've gotten some absolutely incredible videos. So go support real independent media. He's a real one, on the ground reporting. And, it's people like me. I'm in a comfortable studio, and I get to talk about what they actually went in the field to get for us. So let's go ahead and break this down for you here. This is a protester who is completely and utterly fed up, and he gave ICE a piece of his mind. And this is a dark and disturbing warning. Take a look.
With no cause and murdering people for trying to flee and for obeying a command to leave the area, and then shooting her in the face like that after she drops her kid off at school. We have to show up with guns. We have to. There's no other way around it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon. There's no way. I got shot with a pepper ball 5 minutes after walking in here. I never laid a finger on them. I never raised a hand to them. I've only been using my voice. The time for speaking is over. The time for niceties is over. The time for peace is over. They fired the first shot. It is time to end this shit by any means necessary.
You're talking about, potentially going to a dark place in this country. Do you foresee...
We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian concentration camps. We got other countries being raided for their oil. We're in the dark time. There's no way out of this. There's no voting our way out of this. We can't wait till November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box. That's the only way. If there was another way, I'd be advocating for it. I've spoken peacefully. I've marched peacefully. I marched without Sharpton. I marched on Washington. I've been peaceful. I've acted peacefully. The time for peace is over. The time for any means necessary is right now.
When I told you guys that this country is becoming radicalized, I meant it. I'm not just talking out of my ass here. I have very personal firsthand experience with all things political. I mean, that's what I do for my job. And it became very clear to me that in this second Trump regime, they were no holds barred. They were just losing their goddamn minds off the reservation, completely unhinged, completely unpredictable, completely insane, overreaching, incredibly brutal. And I told you there would be consequences for that. I told you that this was not going to end in a pretty place. And the fact of the matter is, they've been warned. They've been warned time and time and time again. And their reaction every single time is to double down and triple down and quadruple down and make every single thing worse. Trump lives by some rules that were laid out for him by a former mafia lawyer, a guy by the name of Roy Cohn. And Roy Cohn said, never, ever, ever admit fault and always go on the offense. And Trump has abided by that for his entire life. Here's the problem. When you're president of the United States of America and your agents are shooting unarmed women in the face and murdering them, for you to double down and triple down and quadruple down and let the American people know there is no way through the normal political channels. There is no way through the judicial system to get this remedied, to fix this, to bring about justice, to have the correct consequences. The message that you are sending is exactly what this guy just said. And you're getting people who have been completely peaceful in their lives. You're getting people who do not want violence in any way, shape, or form. You're getting them to go, holy fucking shit. This is what Malcolm X talked about. How we need to do self-defense to protect ourselves against an oppressive, tyrannical state, which is doing illegal and offensive violence against us. You're getting regular people to open their eyes and realize, no, there is no, hey, fascism is coming. You know, fascism is here. It's here right now. And the question is, what do we do about it? What do we do about it? And the fact of the matter is, I think the regime is waiting for literally any single thing they could use to justify and rationalize going full authoritarian and invoking the Insurrection Act. And look, to be fair, I think they're going to do that no matter what. If there isn't a real excuse, they'll make up an excuse. But they are laying the groundwork to do exactly that. And the other thing I fear is Trump is laying the groundwork not only to do that, but to do it around election time. But to do it at a moment where he can say, hey, now we have a national emergency. Now is not the right time to have an election. We're going to postpone the election. We'll revisit that when everything calms down. But for right now, we have martial law, we have a curfew, we have the U.S. military in the streets, and now we're looking at a regime where he's surrounded by sociopathic yes men. These are the same people who said, yes, sir, go invade Venezuela and kidnap a sovereign leader. These are the same people who said, yes, sir, bomb Iran, as he did not that long ago. These are the same people who said, let's take Greenland, let's steal Greenland and destroy NATO and break up our entire relationship with the entire EU. So those people, there are no brakes on the car. There's not a rational, voice in the room. And here we are. And they're the ones who are going to decide where we go from here. But the American people, we're at a boiling point. We're at a boiling point. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people who in the past would absolutely positively condemn any kind of violence whatsoever, I do feel like we're now at a point where if there were to be violence against a federal agent, an ICE official, a Border Patrol official, if there were to be violence in Minneapolis against one of them, I really do think most of the country would shrug and go, well, what'd you expect? Well, what'd you expect? It's literally like a law of nature. If you fuck with somebody enough, if you fuck with people enough, there are going to be consequences, right? Like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And that's what we're looking at here. So if you have some ICE Gestapo thugs, totally untrained, with fucking criminal histories, long rap sheets, and they show up and they're throwing around their weight and they're recording everybody and they're breaking up families and they're arresting innocent people, and they end up shooting a woman in the face at point blank for no fucking reason, and we could see it on camera. Yeah, a lot of people are going to start sounding like this guy. A lot of people are going to start sounding like this guy. The number of videos I've seen of people in Minneapolis screaming at the top of their lungs at an ICE thug, telling them to get the fuck out of here. I mean, these are people, this is like an accountant. This guy works in retail. This guy's an accountant. This is your buddy Dave, who was your college roommate, right? Like, you have now radicalized the majority of the population into correctly understanding that we are now living through history again, and Trump is creating the Fourth Reich. That's what's happening. Trump is creating the Fourth Reich. And any sort of finger wagging and tut-tutting and saying, oh, don't use that language, sir. Like, people are going to be like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You can go to shut the fuck upsville. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the regime go, you're using the incorrect language. Your rhetoric is out of control. Really? Our rhetoric is out of control. Your actual actions are out of control. You're the ones murdering people in the streets. And we use some naughty words. We use some no-no words. And therefore, you get to fucking berate us and chastise us. Get the fuck out of here. It's called free speech. It's called the First Amendment. It's called we're right and you're wrong. It's called get the fuck out of these free cities. Nobody wants you there. Nobody wants you there. You're not actually doing a real job, by the way. You're not actually going around and rounding up criminals. We blew through all the criminals within the first week or so. If you're doing mass deportations, you're taking people who've been here from when they were kids. You're taking innocent people, people with visas, people with green cards, people who are dreamers, people who have never committed a crime ever, and they're an immigrant. You're taking all sorts of innocent people. And that's going to lead to a massive backlash, and the backlash is justified. And, look, don't say we didn't warn you. Like, consider this your warning. That the way this guy's talking, a lot of people might be a little shocked at it, right? This has 1 million views. A lot of people might be shocked at it, but it's real. It's real. And you can only spit in somebody's eye and kick them when they're down enough times before they go, that's it. That's it. It's time to tool up, son. That's going to be the reaction. So these ICE thugs need to be careful. They need to get the fuck out of there. They need to get the fuck out of there. They need to clean up their own house. They need to, become actual professionals. Did you know that Trump made it so instead of 5 or 6 months of training, they reduced it to 47 days? Why did they pick 47 days? Because he's the 47th president. I wish I was kidding. I'm dead serious. So they basically don't have training anymore. They got rid of the sit-up requirement because their fucking fat-ass agents couldn't do it. And here they are. These are white nationalists and Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and 3%ers. These are criminals, as I said. These are racist freaks. And they're looking for trouble. And so basically the reaction from people like this is, oh, you're looking for trouble? Well, okay, I'm going to match your energy. How about that? I'm going to match your energy. And I didn't start it, bitch. You started it. You fired the first shot. So you can't come here with your crocodile tears when something happens in the other direction because you've been warned. Fucking cut it out. Bring about justice in the case of the woman who was just fucking murdered instead of hiding evidence and protecting the guy and not even allowing a fucking investigation or a trial. You really think you're going to get away with that? You really think you're going to get away with that? Well, like I said, there's going to be fucking consequences now. People are fucking furious. So if you're not cleaning up your own house and you're not bringing about justice, people are going to revert to all sorts of violent ways of reacting. They're going to meet your violence with violence. So again, consider it your forewarning that this guy, he's not the only one that's saying shit like this. There's a lot of people saying shit like this. And throughout history, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. Throughout history, even during like the civil rights movement, they're looked at now as like, oh, it was a peaceful movement and there was just nonviolence and MLK's philosophy won out. No, but you also had Malcolm X. You also had the Nation of Islam. You also had a number of people who thought that MLK was a fucking pussy and he wasn't fighting hard enough, right? They used to mock the idea of, oh, really, you're going to turn the other cheek and sing "We Shall Overcome" while they're sicking police dogs on you and they're shooting you and they're beating you? Like, really? You think you're a tough guy by doing that? So you always had the two wings, right? You had the militant wing that's like, we're going to match their violence with violence. And then you had the people committed to peaceful, nonviolent resistance who were, the easier people to negotiate with, let's say. And so what ends up happening is the existence of the people who are willing to match violence with violence makes it so that it's like a good cop, bad cop mentality that the feds are going to have to realize. Like, okay, who do we want to deal with? The guys who are talking about we got bullets, or the guys who are like, hey, let's abolish ICE and let's fucking bring about justice? And that's what happened, that's what happened in apartheid South Africa with Nelson Mandela. There was a lot of violence that was happening, and, Nelson Mandela was able to go, you want to deal with them or you want to deal with me? Right? And it's the same thing. MLK, you want to deal with Malcolm? You want to deal with the people who are matching your violence with violence, or you want to deal with me? And that's how change came. That's how change came. And we like to, we Disneyified it and we Santa Clausified it now, where we pretend like, no, it's only ever been, total peaceful action that has led to change, but that's not true. It's not true. You have to have two wings of the movement, one that is willing to negotiate and the other one that is kind of hardcore. And we're watching the hardcore people be created in real time by the actions of the fascist regime. We're watching them be created right in front of our eyes. Because America didn't have that. I need you to understand that too. Americans have a default reverence for law enforcement as a general rule. I say that because all the polls indicated that. You couldn't find a poll of the American people going, I dislike the police. It was overwhelmingly in support of the police. Well, now we're seeing a law enforcement agency become fucking disgraced right in front of our eyes, where people realize this isn't a law enforcement agency. This is a group of gangsters. They're thugs. They're criminals. And so to actually get the American people to turn on some semblance of law enforcement and to create this backlash effect where now people are talking about violence. You guys built that shit. You built that shit. So don't come crying to us when the shit hits the fan. It's going to happen, and you've been warned that it was going to happen. And all you have to do to make this not happen is ICE has got to be abolished, and you guys got to get all the fucking criminals arrested. And if you don't do that, we'll see what happens. But I don't think you're going to like it. I don't think you're going to like it. So this is one of many of videos like this we've been seeing. Don't take my word for it. Go watch the segment we did the other day where you have some people just screaming at the top of their lungs at these ICE thugs. You know, call it fucking bitch, I fucking hate you, get the fuck out of my city. All sorts of shit, everything you can imagine. And that's the bare minimum of it, right? That's the bare minimum of it. It can get a lot worse than that. And, you know, they think they get away with it. Conservatives and Republicans, they don't realize what they've done to the left in this country. They're so obstinate. They're so insane. They're so extreme that, and they just thought, like, we can do this forever and there will be no equal and opposite backlash. Well, no, bitch. Now you've created that backlash and you've created this left-wing Tea Party and you've made it now, it's going to be a litmus test on the Democratic side that any Democrat running for office needs to be in favor of abolishing ICE and they need to be in favor of mass new Nuremberg trials to lock up all these criminals. Because if we don't, rule of law is dead forever. If we don't fucking hold these people accountable. From all the ICE thugs to Stephen Miller to Kristi Noem to fucking Pam Bondi to Elon Musk to Donald Trump to Pete Kegsbreath, the Secretary of War Crimes, they all got to go down. They all got to go down. And that's what people feel in their heart and their soul now, and they have made that the reality. So they may have gone at 1,000 miles an hour and broke shit, but guess what? Now you got people on the other side coming at you like a motherfucking freight train, and there's nothing you can do about it because you laid the groundwork. You created this, and now they're going to live with the consequences. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.